Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Kingdoms and Castles and a new series, this time focusing on islands. In the previous series, I was sort of relearning and rediscovering the game, and I wanted it to serve as a fairly chill, relaxing experience, and hopefully it was that, and also hopefully this series will inherit that trait as being a fairly relaxing one, where we don't have to worry about every little micromanagement and placement of buildings, etc, etc. However, we do this time have an added challenge. Now, most of the issues that we experienced in the previous series were overcome via the gratuitous application of ballista towers and archers, so things like Viking attacks and dragon invasions. However, flooding and plague, not so much. This time, however, as you can see, we are fairly limited when it comes to A, the land that we are on, and B, the resources that we're able to gather. And I wanted this to be sort of necessity, the mother of invention, as they say, so we can't overcome all problems by just getting loads of resources and then building big walls, etc. And we have to work around the limitations of our terrain, and that's hopefully what we've done here. Now, you don't want to know how long this took me to generate this sort of island setup here, because I wanted a couple of things. Firstly, I wanted a decent area that is arable, so we can grow a lot of crops, which is this area here. Our keep, by the way, will be placed probably around this area, so we have access to the forest, we have access to arable land, and also up the top here, access to stone, albeit very limited. And then, after that, I wanted another section where we have access to another type of resource. In this case, it is iron, so we can still cross this here by either putting some piers or probably bridges across, so we can still get access to this, but it is quite far away. But the third part is I wanted to have the majority of the resources on the map to be elsewhere, quite far away. And as you can see, there is a lot of A, fish around this area, but B, also 1, 2, 3 stone. So basically 3/4 of our stone supply is on a different island, and half of our iron supply is on here too. Also, the witch, which means we must settle on this land before we can approach the witch. So what I wanted to do is have it so that we have, as you can see, the island here, the island over here, and then finally this one at the bottom where we'll have to build some shipping from one to another. Now, this is not something I've actually done in the game, so it will be a bit of a learning experience. It might go horribly wrong, it might not even be possible, but hopefully it will be interesting. And let's go over to our castle and then to the keep, and we want to place our keep probably around, I don't know, there. That should do us quite nicely, and obviously that means we can now start to build stuff. Let's go over to our town and then to road, and the road will run out to there, and then we'll unpause it. It's also going to run up to there and no further, because I've actually run out of resources. You can see they've managed to build that, and then now we're going to build the road. I'm going to go over to our chop wood here and chop a fair amount of wood. Now, the problem with this is obviously we don't want to run out of timber, because that's going to be our main building material, so we have to make it as renewable as possible. But furthermore, we have a little bit of an issue when it comes to distance. So up the top here is where we've got our stone supply, and over on this side is where we've got our very fertile land, which is ready for agriculture. We also have fertile land there, which is also ready for agriculture, but we'll see how we get on. You can see all of the peasants are going along and chopping this wood. I'm going to go over to town and then 2 hovels, and I want to build one. Oh, actually, I want to build 2 hovels like that, because we have 5 peasants in total, and each one of these provides 5 beds. Obviously, this is the first episode of the first series, so we're not going to expect much on this one. I just wanted this to sort of demonstrate the idea of what we want to accomplish, and as always, you know, by all means, let me know in the comments what you think we should do. Suggestions, comments, ideas, hints, tips, tricks, cheats, hacks, etc. Okay, keep advisors. Good day, sire. We need some farms first to feed our workers. Okay. City. Good day, sire. Let's begin growing our kingdom with some roads, then houses, and is the military person sleeping in? Yes. Good day, sire. They really do not care. Okay, fair enough. So we've managed to put some houses down. We've got the wood getting chopped on the right. I'm going to assume, perhaps wrongly, that yes, these caves are actually empty. So we've got one empty cave, 2 empty cave, 3 empty caves, and 4 empty caves. So these are all empty, which is good, because otherwise we would be attacked. However, I fear that over here, yes, we have a wolf den, and I'm going to guess the same is true down the bottom. 1 wolf den, 2 wolf den, 3 wolf dens. Denzizes? Denzes, I think it's Denzes. Anyway, over to, I was going to say over to road and crack on with that, but that's not actually going to happen, because they're not cutting any of this wood, which is interesting. Why are they not chopping any of that wood? Let me go over to job priority. They're currently set to builders, but I want to say timber workers, and there we go. Now hopefully they're going to crack on and do all of that. That's interesting that we've told them to do that, but they weren't building it, so I'm hoping that with the addition of this extra house, we'll crack on there. Let's bring that down to that, and we'll crack on with the building. This is year 2. We do still have some resources in our stockpile, but naturally we do want to go ahead and build some more roads in order to get some farming done. Now, I have a rough idea of what I want to do when it comes to farming. So you can see I'm building this road quite a way into this fairly well, it's actually very fertile land. What I want to do is have a road that goes pretty much right through the centre, and then we'll have the farms all around here either side, which we can also leave a little bit of a gap to put a windmill in, which increases the yield of those. That's the rough idea, but we'll have to see how we get on. Also, as you may notice, we are actually chopping a lot of this out, and that's a problem. We need to be as, have this as renewable as possible. Let's go over to farm here. I'm going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 farms areas there. Hopefully that will be enough for now, but we'll see. In terms of our hovel, it has 5 villages each. You can see they don't have access to charcoal, don't have access to drinkable water, which I will sort out once I get some stone, but that's of a slightly lower priority than the food. I think I do need some stone eventually to go for the forester, because as I said, I want to cut a lot of this wood out, but then we will very quickly have to start to replant that. Obviously that being a high priority there. The Island Isles, my lord, life is good here. Our kingdom attracted 4 new residents. Oh yeah, it's called the Island Isles, if I haven't mentioned that. So agriculture, food stores are running low. That is correct, yes. That's because we don't actually have any food stores. So I'm not knocking their advice. They are technically correct, which is obviously the best kind of correct, as people often say. However, it's not something I can really do much about. So, waiting for them to crack on with this. I think the next couple of builders will hopefully have those farms, which is now done, and we will set the farmers to, at the moment, the top priority. That has to be our top priority at the moment there. Wood, we are gathering away quite nicely. We do have 10 people, so I'm going to go ahead and have a couple more of these hovels put in. I'm not going to necessarily expand the road massively. I don't think we need to just yet, but you can see they're gathering all of that wood, building here, and it will also mean that we can obviously add more farming in this area. So there we go. That's a nice bit of farming. Same thing on the other side, and that will hopefully give us a nice allotment of food. In terms of food, we can store 50, so that's all right. I think we'll also go for an orchard or 2. Orchards, that's a word now. Orchards simply requiring 15 wood. And workers, naturally. Just waiting for... What are we actually waiting for? These guys are the building. Okay, that's fine. So we don't have anyone that's... and the timber workers, but there is a need. But you can see they're gathering the wood around, so that is actually alright. In terms of happiness, it's 61, trending towards 61. We've had 3 people find a satisfactory home, which is good, and health is fair. So we expected that. We currently have examine what's the peasants are mostly fine, but we can do better. Try examining a house to see how to improve our peasants' conditions. Well, we've done that. And the worry about food for the winter. Well, we've just gathered a fair bit of wheat here, so hopefully that will be enough for all of our villages. So we'll see how we get on there. Looks like they're picking that up and then moving it over, which is good. We're also doing the rest of this. Actually, what I might do is cancel the building of that side. I'll have to actually demolish the building of that side, and they'll crack on with the other side there. We have enough wood in this corner, and the rest of it is on the go as well. You can see they're going ahead to do all of that, which is fine. And we now have more people arrive as well, which is excellent. Let's go over to our, I was going to say orchard, but I don't think that's going to be possible. We don't have nowhere near enough wood. Let's chop some of that wood in this corner. A lot of this I will, as I said, put, when I can, some of the foresters in. And we'll just, I'm not going to really care where they go. And certainly for the next couple of episodes, I'm just going to shove them down and they can just look, you You plant trees and then cut trees. That's your job. I'm not really bothered about anything after that. You can see food is running low, but hopefully that is going to be a fairly decent year 4-5 yield there. And you can see they're actually building the last remaining one there. And yeah, you can see they're all farming is pretty good, actually. I think that's all right. So they're going to take it back to the keep, which brings it up to 40 odd. Remember, we can only store 50 anyway on this place without getting some extra storage, which is the small granary or the large granary, otherwise known as just a granary. There's no large in the title, but there you are. It is technically larger than the small granny. Granny? Maybe, I don't know who works there. Anyway, it's larger than the small granary, but it also requires stone, which we, as I've said, don't have. Anyway, I'm going to place a couple of orchards, and how do I want to? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could place them along there, or do I want to just go? I think I'll just go across like so. There's 2 orchards. That should hopefully do us for now with the amount of people that we have. And I didn't expect to need to go for for some masons now, but I think we may go for that. I'm just going to double check actually. Chamber of War, Great Hall. I want enough space to place them around here, so I may have a road. I may have the road running up a little bit, and 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think it only requires 1 space. Let's demolish that one and then just build across there. And then up to there, cancel that, and now that those roads are in, we can go for a quarry on that side. And so we're even more limited than I expected. In order to remove this unusable stone, we need I was going to say technology, but actually we need the money, which is often the case in life. We need tools and we need money. So actually the only stone we have access to is just 1 bit of stone, which is going to be very, very limiting. But, you know, necessity, mother of invention, etc. So our priority, I think, is to get that stone mason, get the quarry up and running. I don't think we need a mason. No, we don't need a mason, because mason's for rebuilding things. So that's fine. What are they saying here? Took long to start the harvest, some of it was ruined by the winter. Well, that's bad, but actually quite in one way I'm not actually that bothered. In fact, in other ways I'm actually pleasantly surprised by that. It means that we're not starving. So, but it does mean wasted food, which is obviously arguably worse? Don't think so. Anyway, we've got farmers 11 of 11, builders 5 of 23, and stockpile workers we ain't got any. Don't know if we want to build any more beds. I think some more hovels are probably going to be of some benefit. And once we've got... There's the orchard there. There's 1 orchard, and the other orchard will be done very shortly. Once we've got that in, hopefully the rest of this will be done. We are still okay for food and also okay for wood on this corner, but I think once we've cut into this, we're starting to, you know, we've already cut a fairly big chunk of the forest out there over to here, and more food that we can store. So actually, yeah, we could probably reduce the amount of jobs, put them onto building instead, because we've got enough for this year. I think get this up and running, because I want to get a well in, and I also want to get once we've got a well, we can then get granary over here and somewhere to store the food. I'm very tempted to have the food storage back near the centre over here. It does mean them having to run further to do it, but placing it on this fertile land seems a bit of a waste. We'll see how we get on anyway. Looks like they've built the road up to the quarry, and we have grown to a small village, so that's pretty good. Fairly happy with that. That means we have over 25 people. Yeah, we have exactly 25 people at the moment, so that's pretty good. Looks like the quarry is almost built. Naturally, we have to place some storage and all of the usual accompaniments, but we'll get onto that later on. That's now put in, so I'm going to go to job priority, make sure the quarry workers are quite high up on the list there, and let them crack on. And the first thing I'll probably build is a well. That will give us enough well, enough stone for a well, which will increase our happiness. As you can see, happiness is not great because of that. And also some of these need access to a road, which I might have to build around. I'm going to, as a priority, try to get cottages. Remove hovels and then place cottages, and obviously manors would be quite good as well, but because that requires gold, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll just see. Anyway, our first stone is getting quarried there. We can have a little zoom in and see them quarrying away. The blocks will sort of come out of the rock, actually go through them, which is a health and safety violation, and then almost dropped on another one of the workers, but there we are. There's some more stone, and job done. Excellent. So we've got 8 stone at the moment. 10 stone. We now have enough stone for a well, so we're going to place a well. Where do we want to place a well? I think a well will go in here, because I also want the road to come across and up to there, just to give those just give that some housing. Actually not, sorry, just give that housing some road, but I think not. What I might do is have it come along, and we'll have a manor house here and then a manor house here. Sorry, it would be a cottage here and a cottage here. Otherwise it would just be a little bit of a problem. Although, where is the door for the cottage? The cottage is on the side. Yeah, the cottage entrance is on the side, so we might have to make it lengthways. That's not actually a problem, so in that case I will do that, and it will all fit in eventually, so that's fine. So grew more food than we can store, right? And also let's make life better for our peasants, which we are trying to do that. Alright, 5 stone in total, enough for a forester, and I'm going to place a forester basically along there, all the way along here is the idea. These will probably not be permanent places for the foresters. I will most likely move them when we need to. But at least we got orchards. At least we got food. Too long to store the harvest. I need to make sure that we don't run out of this forest area. I mean, it's going to be difficult to run out of all of this because it's so dense as the forest. The forest is so dense. But I'd rather play it safer early on, especially considering the limited resources that we have. So there's one forester there. Another one will go in. Just trying to think. It'll be... Is that right? There. Yeah. And then another one will go in this corner as well. And that'll be probably the 3 foresters that we go with from now on, really. Alright. So that's good. Making sure the quarry workers. Yeah, we've got 4 quarry workers. It'd be very nice to get the more quarry workers, but you know, we just can't at the moment because the quarry workers, where is it? Quarry can't go there. Yeah, can't go in there. Blocked by stones. Blocked by stones, and it can't go there. Must be adjacent to usable stone. So we'll have to see. There are mods you can get to increase the amount of stone that you're able to mine. You're currently able to place 2 quarries and 2 iron mines on both the stone and iron respectively, but the mod increased it to 4 around the outside. I did look at mods to check out like extra island generation. There was some mods for extra terrain generation, day-night cycle, lots of other things. I just didn't want it to cause some issues, which a couple of people were reporting, so I thought we'll play it safe, and there's enough here extra I think for us to have fun with. 9 stone there, which is pretty alright. A windmill we can't build. A small granary I will make, although I'm tempted to wait. How much is a granary? 30. Well, it's a teeth dryer, but do we want to do that? And how much is a... Oh, stores fruit. Right. What we might do then is build a produce storage first, because that's 15. Will there be any other priority? We have wells. We'll have a well, singular. We have food coming in. We don't have stockpiles, but that won't store food. But we do have foresters. And I want to build a 3rd one, which will just go there. And they'll do all of that. Alright. So 30 people, 30 beds. It's okay. 49 food, and there's all of the apples coming along. So because of the distance, it actually doesn't really matter about the extra storage, I don't think. Oh no, we maxed out on that. Wow, loads of food wasted. Look at all of that. Don't know if you saw that. There was probably, I would say, 30, 40 odd food wasted. Okay, well, what I'm hearing from that is build cottages. That's my takeaway from that. So demolish that, build a cottage. Crack on. Go, go, go. And we'll do the same on that side, and we'll keep going. Because more people, more better, more able, you know, they're able to work, they're able to use that food. So we'll do that. Demolish that building as well. I know what's going to make people homeless. Oh dear. There we go. That's fine. Place those in. They have access to road, which is good. Looks like seems to be just adjacent. Has road access just to be adjacent, I think, because technically, you know, the road doesn't go up to their front door. But I'm going to assume, perhaps wrongly, that it just means, is there a road adjacent to my cottage? And in this case, there is. So that's fine. There's all of the harvest coming in, which is some of it's getting stored. Some of it will be wasted. But hopefully, with 44 beds now, there'll be more people. Look at that. You can see they've all went to gather that. Oh, they've gathered most of it. So there will be some that'll be wasted. There you go. Not as much, because they're taking it to these places. Okay. Another cottage then. And we'll put one on this side. That's probably as far as we're going to go in terms of the building of the cottages. We'll go elsewhere. Agriculture, yeah, the same. Town square, we could throw festivals. Okay. I mean, we could have a town square, couldn't we? I like the idea of the town square being, like, on the waterfront here. That might be quite nice. I'll see. See about placing that. Oh, we got a fire started. Well, it's raining and it's right next to a well, so quite frankly, I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, that went out very, very quick. So we have a town square, if we want it. Well, if we want to have one. I will place it here. Which, are those pumpkins? Is that like a seasonal thing? It could be. You might get things based on when you're playing the game. Cool. That's nice. Yeah, 13. 56 beds, only 36 people. Again, talking about the harvest problems. They also would enjoy a warm tavern. I'm sure they would. But taverns cost... I was going to say taverns cost money. Actually, what I meant to say is taverns cost stone, and stone is money. So, we'll see. This is an orchard storage. Otherwise known as a produce storage. It stores apples. And orchard... Hang on, orchard... Orchard there. Orchard there. So we can actually place one here, can't we? Which we will do. I think that's fine. Then on the other side we'll place a granary. Requires 30 stone. Minus 22 last year. Oh, right. Farmers now go up top. So maybe we are running out of food now. The massive... Or maybe it's just because we couldn't store it. It's a possibility. We'll see how we get on this year. Looking at all of that, we should be all right. How much does each one of those produce? 7 per year. That should be more than enough for all of our people. It just depends on whether they mean the distance, because they have to take it to the keep, and then when it's full, they won't take it any further. But I believe the heads of household from here alters that, and then go and get it. Yeah, 2 heads of household for bringing food and charcoal, whereas these ones, they don't have a head of household. Oh no! House 5 villages, the head of household fetches food and charcoal. Alright, okay. So we're still not storing it all, but I think we will wait a little while, only, shouldn't take too long, for a granary. We're on 27 stone. I think a granary will go probably around here. Although, I think there is fine. There's our granary. The Island Isles, my lord. 7 people visited, but only 4 found satisfactory homes. This is home. Oh, no, to be fair, found a satisfactory home, correct. And decided to stay and serve you. Okay. Can't run a festival because we don't have any gold. And they seem to be putting the roof on the building before the bottom bit. That's some weird-ass building technique that I'm not... Yes. I really don't know how on earth they've decided... how they've managed that. Yeah, okay, fair enough. There's some food that was sadly not stored through the winter, but it's not an issue. Look at all that, all the reforestation, as it were, all along here. That's pretty good. And we're getting a lot more people visit, which I'm happy to see. It's asking for some charcoal. Yeah, saying charcoal makers. All right, I'm going to build a small stockpile. And I think I'll put that... Actually, do I need a small stockpile with the wood? No, I don't think I do. Not with what we've got. I think we'll be alright. Charcoal maker. We do want a couple of charcoal makers. The problem with that is that the charcoal makers are... Well, they make a lot of fire, and they tend to make it very smelly. So I'm going to place one there. And I'll put a well right next to it, because guaranteed it will start to make charcoal plus, which basically means everything around it becomes charcoal and sets everything on fire. Enjoy the tavern, yes, and we're still losing excess food. Yeah, well, we've got this granary now, so I'm hoping that with the granary and everything else, we should be alright. How are we doing for that? Maybe another orchard is in order. Maybe 2 orchards are in order. We'll see. I'll place 2 of them down and we'll see how we get on there. Trending towards 54 because they want a tavern, so I guess we'll have to place that. I am tempted to... How are we doing for beds? 56 beds. Right. I'm going to demolish those 2, and obviously that's going to make people homeless, I am aware, but I want to then place a cottage in like so. And I'll do the same on the other side, but only once I know we have the right amount of... No. Beds here, because I want that to be built. Oh, it's actually getting built relatively quick, so I will go ahead and place that other cottage there. I'm going to run the road up to that, because we're going to place another one further along. And if we are wanting another... If we want a tavern, where could the tavern go? Well, looking at the town and tavern, I like the idea of the tavern being at the end of the square. That might be nice. Let's do that, because you can walk along there anywhere. And I was very tempted to have, but I don't know if we can access it now. No, we can't access it yet. But in one of these, I think it's in the centre there, you can have like nice little gardens. And we're going to have a garden running across there and along here. And then that will hopefully serve us quite well. That means we can access the back here as well. So yeah, not too bad. So, saying about improving the conditions of the place. Saying it's not very nice. Event planners are at low, granary workers. Charcoal makers are in. So we do have a charcoal maker now, which is good. Problem at the moment is that people are taking a sort of shortcut across here. Are they? No, sorry, are they? No, they're actually walking around there. That's actually going alright then. Trending towards 66, because peasants are in good health. We have fruits, we have wheat and bread. Chance of plague low, plague virulence moderate, life expectancy is moderate as well. But we now have a tavern. And now saying we don't have enough wood. That's not... Sorry, we'd have too much wood. That's actually not a huge problem. How are we doing for food? Food is good. We're on positive change for food. It is... And now, sadly, a case of, well, we need a treasure room, which allows us to tax peasants. So, where do I want to place a treasure room? Well, I think it's going to be on and around this thing. So I like to place all of the buildings, like the Chamber of War, the Great Hall, etc., around this area. So I'll probably place it there. But we shall see. We have a granary. We have food storage, produce storage. We don't have a baker, but we don't have access to that yet. Things like all of the fishmonger, fishing hut, swineherd, butcher, etc. That's future us problems. We have a tavern. We have a couple of wells. The one up there mainly to stop stuff burning down. Here's our treasure room, which we will place, I guess, the entrance there. And you can see it alters the look of this. Actually, do I want to place it there? No, demolish it. At least you get all your resources back, which is good. It actually opens up this, even though I haven't got one placed, which is a bit of a cheat, but there you are. Let's place it there. And it's also increased the size of our keep as well. But in the centre, we now have our advanced town, which is things like gardens, cemeteries, caretakers, churches, hospitals, fountains, all the way up to great library and cathedral. Whether or not we have... Well, whether or not we build these is sort of up for debate, really, and it'll come down to space. If we get that far, we probably will be able to build them, because we'll remove some of the older things to retrofit it. That's going to require a lot more... one thing I didn't mention, it will probably require a lot more retrofitting this, because of just the sheer limitations of where we are. Speaking of limitations, I wanted to place a nice cottage there, but it's almost certainly got some land just covered in trees there. Alright. That's not too bad. So we've got that treasure room. We're going to start taxing people. And that means we can start to build some more advanced things. Things like manor houses. We can build everything in this advanced stuff like the churches and libraries and clinics, industry. We can go that way. Charcoal. We've got minus charcoal. We need another charcoal burner. I'm going to place 2 more though, because we're getting some more people. But... I think we will leave it there. I don't think that's a bad start. It obviously has its limitations being where we are. However, we have managed to get already a small village here, which consists of 60 people, but there is capacity for 72. Happiness is trending towards 62, so not great, but they do have access to a town square, a tavern. They're not wanting for food, that's for sure. We've got orchards and our farms as well. We have very good access, and it's all renewable when it comes to the wood, because we have 3 foresters. We may even have overdone that a little bit. What I might do is remove these foresters, remove all of the trees, work further into this side, and then do that. But I'll probably designate later on in the series like a permanent area, like this is forestry. This is how far we go. We don't go any further in there, and we have just the foresters working. But stone, we've got 1, but that's it. We are extremely limited, and that tree is where the road should have been, but I didn't actually build the road all the way up to there. You didn't need to, and I did on purpose not to waste any wood, but quite frankly, I think that will look a bit better. Right, so stone is going to be our main, I think, limiting factor at this stage. However, in order to stop that, we could get, or at least alleviate the issue, we could get a dock. Yeah, you also have something called an outpost. Build on an unclaimed land to start a new settlement. Provides a small amount of starting resources when completed. So that's something I've never used before. It means that if we, for example, go over here, yeah, build an outpost to name the island. It would be a separate settlement. That's interesting then. Are we not able to? No. I guess we would have to make this a separate settlement and then set up trading between the two. Okay. That's going to make things interesting then. I hope that works that way, or whether or not it's completely different resources. We shall have to see. The fun is in finding out, and we will find out, hopefully, later on in the series. Either way, we will leave it there. That is the Island Isles. We have got to year 20, 69 people with beds 72. Happiness is middling, health is trending towards good, tax rate 10%, and overall good resources. Next episode, we will crack on and expand our settlement. Hopefully, we will be able to, sooner rather than later, start getting some iron and working on that side of it. And we now have a dragon that's been sighted. Oh dear. It is only a sighting, so it's going to come along and hopefully take a couple of pictures and go away, he says, without any degree of confidence. So let's see if any of what I said actually happens. Dragon's coming along. Having a little look. Checking out our renewable forestry solution systems. Checking out the charcoal burners. It's getting warm. And then it's leaving, and that's good. No, it's not. It's checking out the forestry again, and now it's leaving. Okay, so we'll probably have to build sooner rather than later then some defenses. But we will leave it there. As I said, next episode we'll continue on with this and see... The dragon didn't cause that, but coincidence? I think not. That's a lot of housing on fire. To be fair, it is back to back and overhanging and stuff, so we can understand why maybe that happened. Yeah. Fire safety regulations and flame retardants are not something that we actually have around here. Right, finally we will call it there. Next episode we'll crack on and see how we get on. As always, comments in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.